Well, good Monday morning, a rainy Monday at that.
It was pouring
Yeah.
this morning.
Want to welcome everybody. I'm Kelly Knapp,
And I'm Lee Barrows.
and I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's a rainy start to the week this morning. It was raining hard
And
earlier.
it rained
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
yesterday. I'm sure you got the rain I
Yes,
got because we
I
don't live that
did.
far from each other.
Yep.
And then this morning it was pouring.
Yes.
Couldn't see the roads.
I stood on my porch for a couple of minutes thinking maybe it'll let up so I can run to the car. Nah.
No, you were thinking, do I really want to go in?
I was like, oh, my hair's going to get wet. My clothes are going to get, I don't like to have wet clothes and sitting
Yes.
in.
Yes.
So I had a box in my hand that I was putting in my car. Just put it over my head and ran to the car.
Well,
Yeah.
I got my raincoat out. I keep some by the door, and I actually wore it this morning because it was pouring when I went out the door.
Well, that would involve me having to go back in the house upstairs. Just that was too much.
And I
So
keep an umbrella
yeah,
in the truck. Of
yeah,
course, I
same.
have some by the door, but
Hmm.
just umbrella. I don't know about you, but I just find it wearisome.
I only do an umbrella like if I'm going in the store, but I had my hands full of stuff I was
Uh,
taking this morning, so I would not have been able to hold an umbrella. But that box, everything just worked. So I got in, yeah. Then pull up here is puddly outside. I thought, crap, my feet are going to get wet, but
yeah,
I
that's why I wore
dodged
the
it.
tennis shoes this
Yep,
morning. Yes.
I
Well, I
dodged
got
it.
in here and I left the door
Hmm.
open for you.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm so glad. I thought, oh, I hope she didn't lock the door because I'm going to dig my keys out. But you didn't, so all is well.
No, I was thinking
Yeah.
of you.
So I hope everybody, like I said, had a good weekend. And I will go ahead and say, based on the weather, the next couple of days are going to be rainy.
Yes, they
So
are.
I would suggest everyone just kind of make their plans accordingly for
Right.
that.
I was looking at the
Yeah.
forecast for ahead,
Hmm.
and it looks like next weekend may be a little rainy too. And yes, we
I
do
see an
have
X.
development out coming off the
I
coast of
see that on your
Africa.
computer. Yes, an X.
Right now, it's very slow forming and
Hmm.
it's slow to move, and they don't. And I think less than a 40% chance over the next 5 days. But they also were talking about on the national weather this morning about the Sahara dust
Hmm.
is now moving more upward, northward, which is allowing more of these waves. So they kind of feel like that within the next week or two that you'll see more waves coming off the
Yeah.
coast of
Yeah,
Africa.
because
So
that dust keeps the waves kind of like at bay.
yes, it does. And this
Yeah.
one came out a little, it looks like it's a
Hmm.
little bit more north
It
than the
looks,
last one.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
oh, we'll have to wait and see. Just keep your eyes and ears
Hmm.
open
Hmm.
and prepare accordingly. And it doesn't hurt to start preparing in advance. We may not even see a whisper of a storm this
Hmm.
hurricane season, but yeah, it's always good to be prepared.
Well, especially like if you stocked up at water, you're going to drink that. So
Right, right.
not to fret, not to fret.
Yeah, and
And
what's wrong with going out and maybe getting an extra case this week?
I do that anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just set it somewhere where you'll have it instead of waiting to the mad rush at the
Hmm.
last minute if we were to
Then you
have
can't
a
find it.
storm. Yes.
I do need to get a new tarp. I always like to keep tarps because,
Yes.
during Florence, Rob and I went around and tarped people's roofs that needed it.
Yes.
Um, and I learned then that tarps are hard to find in a situation like that.
That's
So,
right. And you can get
um,
them as cheap, but for an 8 by 10 as cheap as
oh
$5.
heck
Well, they
yeah,
used to
yeah.
be. I don't know
I
what
know
they
where I'm
would
going
be
to go get
now.
mine. I'm not telling because there'll be a mad rush on them, but
That's right.
I am going to go get a few more just to
Yes.
have on hand. And believe me, tarps come in handy.
Yes,
So
they do. I have several, and I end up using them through that year for paint projects or
same.
something.
I've
So,
given away a few in the last year or two.
then I go back.
Yeah,
But I need to put that on my list
yeah,
too. I need to
yeah.
get a couple
And
more.
I get a variety of sizes,
Yes.
just because you're
I'm
standard.
writing
And I
it
get
down right
some.
now on
Yeah,
my list,
yeah.
on
Put that
my
on your
store
list
list
because
today.
you never know. And like I said, during Florence, I found out very quickly that things are hard to find. But I
Yes, they
always
are.
tell people now, stock up on batteries,
Hmm.
candles, etc. Because if heaven forbid we do have a storm, we probably are going to lose power like we always do.
Yes.
So, and maybe not every neighborhood, but even if you don't, you may have a friend or a relative or someone that may not have those items and you can take them to them.
Another good thing that a lot of people don't think about, get you some ant spray and just go
Hmm.
ahead and put it in the garage and save it because once we were to have a storm, well, especially with all this rain right now, ants, and with your windows open, if you have no power, here come the ants. So
Yes. I just had an ant problem in my kitchen recently. I hate ants. I had to battle
they're
them.
wearisome.
But I tell you what, and then I had a fly problem. I don't know even how that even happened. Let me tell you that a fly spray, that stuff works.
Yes.
I never
You
used
want to
fly
know
spray
something
before.
that's really good? You know how you get flies on your window?
Yeah.
You know what'd kill them real
What?
fast? Get out your Windex.
Yeah.
Spray them with your Windex, man. They'll drop.
Well, that fly spray dropped, man. It's all over. I need to clean my windows now, get that fly spray residue off. But that stuff
Ugh.
was potent.
Right.
Yeah. What else is there? There's not a lot of like no local news per se
No, I
going
think
on.
Jacksonville was pretty
Yeah.
quiet this weekend with the
I
rain and
heard
the
a lot of
weather.
siren, like fire truck sirens this weekend, though.
I know I saw some
Quite
in
a
my
few
neighborhood
times.
too.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's about. Um, on Saturday, I was driving, and on more than one occasion, I saw a fire. And then I could hear sirens. I couldn't see them, and
Right.
so I don't know what that was all about.
Well, you live over there near the Emergency
I know I hear
Operations
them a
Center,
lot
so
sometimes.
you're going to
Yeah,
hear them a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
And I have a fire
Mhm.
station right across the street from
Mhm.
my neighborhood too.
Yeah,
It's like
so
one street
yeah, I
over.
heard them.
So
So
I know yesterday I was in the garage working on cleaning my
mhm.
garage, but I know I heard the uh, police car
Mhm.
because they're different. You can tell the
Yeah, you can
difference.
tell the difference.
And just a
Yes.
few seconds
Yeah.
later, here comes the fire department.
Mhm.
And then a few seconds after that, the police car turned around and went back the other way. So I
Yeah.
don't know what was going on, but I hope everybody's okay.
Well, a lot of times, like I said, my daughter has epilepsy, and back when we were going through a period where she had a lot of seizures. A lot of times, JPD would get there before the ambulance would,
Right, right,
and I have a few friends that are on JPD, and a couple of times as soon as they heard the address, they knew, so
right.
they knew what it was. But a lot of times they do have to go in and check to see. But no, just a kid with epilepsy. Yeah. So
Well, other than that, world news, not a real lot going on either. Just the same usual blah, blah,
mhm.
that
Mhm.
we're all so tired of hearing about.
Yeah.
So,
Nothing, I mean, well, we haven't heard any more about the nuclear power plant in the Ukraine where Russia's threatened to turn the power off, which would be absolutely catastrophic. So I'm hoping that some of Russia's allies said, dude,
right.
you probably don't want to do that. Now, don't know. But I thought about that all weekend. It just bugged me.
We heard about
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman now is going to go to Russia and plead with Russia
What?
to let
No,
go.
I did not hear that.
Yes, to let go try to get Griner out of prison. And right now, I think the Russian travel level is like at a 4. In other words, don't come to Russia. But
Why
I
would
guess
you
he
go there
thinks
anyway?
with
Yeah.
his personality that he's going to be able to waltz right in there. Which if he gets her out, hey, I'm all for that. Kudos, but goodness. You think with all
But
the stuff going on right now and Russia blaming us for helping Ukraine, he needs to stay home, in my opinion. The
yeah.
government's working
No.
out a deal right now with Russia. It's just going to take a while, but maybe, hopefully, they'll get her back home.
Well, also the other thing too is, Putin was probably difficult to deal with anyway. So there's that. But
Right.
yikes.
Well, Buttigieg now, the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg is now warning airlines that they need to draft that his department, the Department of Transportation, United States, could be drafting new rules around passenger rights if the carriers don't give more help to travelers that are trapped by flight cancellations and delays. Have you ever gone to the airport and got ready to get on your connecting flight and something has happened and there are no flights and you're stuck at the airport overnight?
Let me tell you something, which is why I will
We've
never
stirred
fly
it up.
American Airlines. Let me think, what year is this? 2022. 2017 or 18. And my kids will probably text me with the correct date because this just ended it for them. We go to Ireland every year,
Right.
see family and friends. And it's the one and only time I had flown American Airlines from Raleigh to New York. And then we take Aer Lingus to Ireland, but
Hmm.
this is a domestic flight. On the way, no, let me think about it. Going up there, because we always go in July, our flight from Raleigh to them was delayed or canceled. We had to rent a car and drive from Raleigh to New York. That was a total nightmare. Then when we got back, so then went on to Ireland, got back. to New York. Our flight got canceled. We were stuck in New York for 2 or 3 days. It was
Wow.
awful.
Oh my gosh.
Michaela had a seizure. It was just bad. Um, and American Airlines was horrific. Their customer service was horrific. It was so bad. I will walk, take a donkey, ride a bike before I ever fly American Airlines ever again. So all you that thinks American Airlines great, good on you for thinking that. They're awful. Their customer
Yeah.
service was awful.
Well, there's been so
Yeah,
many cancellations and delayed flights here
they were terrible. I
recently.
mean,
It's been terrible.
Michaela needed to get back. She was
Right.
out of medicine
Oh
at that point
gosh.
because we took some extra, but once again, apparently not enough extra. And we couldn't get a prescription filled up there. It was just bad. Couldn't find a rental car.
Yeah, well,
Awful. Yeah.
I was coming back from Texas on a flight,
Mhm.
got to Atlanta,
Mhm.
and there was, I think, mechanical problem with the
Mhm.
plane. They couldn't find a replacement plane. It was
Mhm.
getting later and later, and they said, "Well, you'll have to wait till tomorrow, and we'll
Was it
possibly."
American? It had to been because
I
they
don't,
fly out of, they're hubbed in
probably so.
Texas. Yeah.
And so if you go right over there and talk to one of the agents, they'll give you a voucher for a hotel room, or they'll help you with this and that. And so you're like, okay, what do I do now? So you go over to where they tell you to go. There's nobody there. If they see you coming,
They run.
they
Yep.
leave.
Yep. Yep.
They leave.
Yep.
And I'm like asking
Yeah.
everybody, well, go over and ask that person. And
Mhm.
I'm like, shouldn't y'all have this already? You have somebody here to
The
help us?
horror stories lately have been awful. And American, the only other time I flew American, which is when my daughter, who's now almost 30, was a baby, flying from California back here to North Carolina, in Dallas, Texas. I'll never forget this. Our plane actually hit a food truck on the runway. Yes. Let me tell you what a fiasco that was.
Oh,
So there's that. Yeah.
oh
So,
my
yeah.
gosh. No,
That's why I fly
that's not
Delta.
good at all.
Delta.
I
Delta's
know
my
I sat on
go-to.
the tarmac in Texas one time for like 3 hours
Yep.
because they
I've
had
done that.
some little chip, some little teeny part that went out on the
Mhm.
plane, and they had to get a new one brought to them, which
Mhm.
I'm all for fixing it before we
Yeah,
take
you don't
off.
want. Yeah.
But the problem,
Yeah.
and of course, they gave us free alcohol to,
But they don't run the
to
air.
please us.
They don't do a lot of that when you're sitting on the plane. I sat on the plane in New York. Now this was an Irish airline. No, it wasn't. That's one time we flew United. But during a thunderstorm, which I
Mhm.
get, you can't take off in a thunderstorm. I'm all
Right,
about
right.
that.
Yeah.
Safety, I'm cool with
I'll
that.
stay home.
But we
Thank
sat
you.
on that
Mhm.
runway for 3 hours
Right.
plus. But they had to turn the fans off. It was hot. It was awful
Right.
because it was July.
Well, the
Yeah.
problem is when you sit there that long and
Mhm.
then you finally get to your connecting airport, you've already missed your flight, your
Mhm.
connecting
Well, I
flight,
wasn't connecting. I was just trying
which
to get
is
to Ireland, but not the point.
right. What
It's
happened to
hot.
me?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we have a flight going out Sunday. If there's room, we'll put you on that. And
I
it's
love
not.
that if
And
there's room.
what
Yeah.
am I supposed to just sit here in a chair for
Rent
the
a
next
car.
24
That's
hours?
what we did from here. It was terrible.
Well, I ended
Yeah.
up lucky enough. I caught a flight going out
Mhm.
of Atlanta at 1 o'clock in the morning going to Raleigh, Durham. I thought
Mhm.
that'll get me in the state and I'll rent a car from
Mhm.
there. And look, it was one of those big jets.
Yeah.
I had never been on one of those big,
Oh,
like
yeah.
737s.
Okay. Yeah.
Boy, when that thing takes off, I mean, we were from Atlanta to Raleigh in less than 40 minutes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Those big jets are cool. I used to fly to Japan on those, and it was like a 2-story plane.
Oh my
Very cool.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. But so, yeah, I mean, I agree that something's going to have to be done. I have seen, all summer, we've all seen those stories of the airline people stranded at airports,
Yes.
people losing people's luggage. I read the story, last week while we were sitting in here on a break of some little 9-year-old that they still hadn't found her luggage, and it's been missing 2 months.
Oh my
Once again, it
gosh.
was American. So
I'm
there you
telling
go.
you,
Yeah.
put your valuables in your carry-on bag.
That's what I do.
That's what I do too.
And
I take very few with me, but
But-
things like my electronics, they'll go on my carry-on.
Medicine, they go on my carry-on.
Right.
Yeah.
And medicine, yes. Anything.
Why would you put medicine in? Some people do it, and I'm like, why would you do that? Never put your medicine in your check luggage.
That's right.
Why? Please, people, they go through your bags.
Yes.
Understand. Matter of fact, as a lot of you may know, remember back at the end of June, myself and some coworkers flew to New Orleans to
Mhm.
that conference. One of the individuals in my party got their bag searched because they put one. She knew immediately. She goes, TSA went through my bag. I'm like, how do you know that? She said, because she did something to her bag and she knew.
Right.
Sure enough, when she opened it up, they had that little note. Just letting you know we searched your bag. We were laughing. I said, make sure everything's in there. Because I've had stuff stolen, like souvenirs
Right.
and stuff, years and years ago when I was bringing something back for somebody here from Ireland in my check bag. So that's when I started bringing my souvenirs back on carry on. Look, I'm going to tell you what, I'll bring
Exactly.
a heavily weighted down carry on bag, considering my personal items.
Right.
And I mean, it's just crazy stuff. But you do not put medicine ever
Right.
in a carry on. I mean, a
And
check bag.
do you put locks on your suitcases? I don't do
I
it.
don't, but because if they go through your bag, they're going to cut your lock off.
That's
I've
what
had
I
that happen
figured too.
before.
Right.
So, nah.
No, I don't
Yeah.
either.
Because
I just like
sometimes I have a friend that works for TSA, not around here in another state. And they told me that sometimes, and I don't know if this is just like their section's policy, they view locks on luggages as a red
red
flag.
flag.
Yeah. They'll cut that mess off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I understand that. That's why I don't like mine too.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
figured I'd rather just,
but I had a lot cut off one time. Like
yeah.
it wasn't that expensive, not the point. I'm like, yeah, what a lot of
I
good
just
this is
generally
doing.
try to keep the nice intimate clothes on top so they'll get their thrill when they open it and they can move on.
Yeah, I mean, just check my stuff.
Right.
Don't steal from me, and I'm happy.
Right.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of travel tips now, and I read last week or the week before, things are blur, that they're telling people now don't get to the airport too early, which is weird.
I like being
Because of the
early.
lines through
Right.
security. I agree.
I like being early
I'll
because
tell
it's
you
less
what.
stressful.
Going to New Orleans, like I said, because you got to remember, this was the first time I had flown since 2019. Um, and they all but strip searched me. I mean, good Lord. I don't understand it. Yeah. Everybody else is waiting for me. I'm like, hold on. And they're like, you want to go on a trip? No, just do what you got to pat me down, put your hands down my pants. What do you got to do? Let's just get going. It was
Right.
crazy.
Right.
I'm like, what is the deal? Checked me for like bomb residue on my hands, like
The
crazy
last
stuff.
couple times
Yeah.
I flew, I was in line one time, and when I got up there, no, somebody pulled me out of line and said, "You
Yeah.
don't, you're cleared."
Mm-hmm. No,
I guess I don't know how that works, but so the next couple times after that, I didn't have to be searched. They walked me right through. Why? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
Maybe they
I mean,
checked my bag already.
she patted me and it's like, I'm going to have to touch you here and here. Do you want to go in a room? No, lady, let's go.
Right.
Pat me down. Let's just keep going. I mean, come
Right.
on. I don't care. I gave birth. Okay. Trust me. Once you give
In
birth,
front of a
you
bunch of
do
people
not
that you
care
didn't
who
know.
sees you.
Right.
Trust me. I tell people that all the time that, are you overly macho? I mean, I'm not going to go strip down in a room full of a bunch of strangers, but we need to rock and roll. Let's just get going. I want to get to where I
I
got to
wonder
go.
why they
Yeah.
chose you.
I don't know. I don't know what I did to set it off. Because you already got your and I know part of it was I asked the lady, do I have to take my belt off? She said no. Yeah, I did. So that was one thing. But you got to take your shoes off, your belt, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. I mean, who knows?
And that's why when I'm flying
Did
like
my
that, I
little
just wear
hands?
shoes that
Yeah,
can just slip right
I
off.
slipped them right off. Oh
Right.
yeah, you see people lacing up boots and all kinds of stuff. Like, why would you do that? Yeah.
Inexperienced
Yeah.
flyers.
Well, I've been flying, a whole life. So yeah. But so anyway, well, let's go ahead and take our first break. Come
Yes,
back with
get it out
weather,
of the
although
way.
everybody already knows what the weather's going to be. But we'll fill you in on next few days at least. You're live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. And Lee, take away the weather.
Yeah, we got their marine forecast, sponsored by Tideline Marine. Fall might be right around the corner, but the waters remain warm enough to enjoy tubing and water skiing. And the good news is that Tideline Marine has a sale on water toys going on right now. Towable tubes are marked down, and you might want to take advantage of the savings because a new tube would make a great Christmas gift and really give someone something to look forward to in the next spring. Here's something else. If you think you want to buy a new John boat or a bay boat, Tideline Marine has a sale on any new boat currently in stock. $5,000 off any new boat that you buy between now and the end of August. Along with the savings, Tideline will throw in a bag containing 4 life jackets. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Today, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to 20 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, building 2 to 4. Dominant period 4 seconds. Tuesday, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Adjacent sounds and rivers with a moderate chop. Wednesday, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, with adjacent sounds and rivers with a light chop.
All right, today showers and thunderstorms, and some of the storms could produce heavy rainfall. We've already seen that this morning. In between that, mostly cloudy, high of 84. Winds could also be gusty at times, with gusts as high as 15 miles an hour. Tonight, more the same. In between that, mostly cloudy, low of 72. Tomorrow, same forecast, high of 84,
Little
mostly
wet.
cloudy. Between that,
Mhm.
Tuesday night, it looks like it will just only a very slight chance of rain, 30%. But who knows? They're wrong about that at times too. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, low of 72. And then rain again on Wednesday, mostly cloudy, high of 85. So,
Right.
but today it's definitely going to be rainy. Tonight, rainy. So,
Well, to give me a
yeah.
chance to put new blades on the mower because I have a feeling it's going to be some heavy cutting come the end of the
Oh,
week.
absolutely. Yes. This weekend, and it's a little far off to tell what it's going to do. So, but this weekend,
It
even if
looks
it's
like
cloudy,
rain, yeah.
people are going to be mowing the yards because this is
Right.
going to be whoo. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Well, it just gives me more time to get the garage
I agree.
finished.
Yeah. Now, there's a controversy. I don't know if that's even the right word. Brewing in North Carolina, with the highest court on Friday,
Hmm.
kind of opened the door to nullifying the voter ID mandate that citizens in North Carolina voted on
That's
in
right.
2018, because they're claiming the lawmakers who put it on the ballot were elected from districts tainted by legal racial bias. Now, it said, however, the North Carolina Supreme Court stopped short of striking down the voter ID requirement and another constitutional amendment that limited income tax rate, ruling that a lower court must gather more evidence on the measures before tossing them out. Now, here's what I got to say about this once
I know
again.
what you're going to say because I'm going to say the same thing.
I don't understand the logic by anybody that's opposing this voter ID, because these same people are not out there, you know, opposing that you got to show an ID when you go to the doctor. You have to show an ID at the bank to withdraw your own money. Let me say that again. You have to show an ID at the bank to withdraw your own money. But you are opposing having to show ID to vote. Why? Because to me, I would think you would welcome that, because that would mean the chances of there being voter fraud would be minimal. So that tells me, in my opinion, it makes me think that these people that are opposing the voter ID are wanting to commit voter fraud.
Well, my feelings on the whole matter is that people voted,
Mm-hmm.
and we voted
Yeah.
for voter ID.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the people, you put it on the ballot, we voted for it, it passed, and now we're being told that our voices don't matter.
That's exactly, but it
That's what
doesn't make
makes me
any
mad.
sense. Like, I would like for someone who opposes voter ID to call this number, 910-333-0139. I
That's
would
right.
like to know why. I just want to know why. I mean, I want to hear your point of view. Why are you opposing voter ID?
You have to have ID to buy alcohol.
Yeah,
You have to have an ID to drive a car.
yeah.
You have to have an ID frankly, to get a library card to check out books.
You have to have an ID when you go to the doctor.
That's right.
But you have to have an ID, like I said before, to go to the bank and withdraw your own
That's right.
money. So you're not out protesting that. How many people go to the doctor and say, I'm not showing you my ID? Well, the doctor's going to be like, well, pound sand, I'm not going to treat you. I mean, serious. So, but I just don't understand why, because the showing of ID shows that this is this person that's coming to cast a vote for the people that
Right.
are making our laws and doing things governing us, etc. Why would you not want to ensure that it's, someone's identity is not being stolen, or that one person is not voting more than one time? Why? I don't understand. Like, so I want someone to just please bless me with your opinion so I can maybe understand, because I just do not get it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to
agree
attack
with
you
you
for your opinion.
100%.
I just want to know. I don't understand why people are so opposed to
Well,
this.
after the May 22 primary, dozens of county election directors shared their recent experiences with election observers who are appointed by political parties to watch the voting process from inside the polling places. In other words, your local Republican Party will have an observer appointed, several of them who take turns, just like your Democratic Party. County officials documented instances in which partisan observers were very disruptive to the orderly conduct of voting, posting materials at the voting place, which is you can't do, questioning poll workers carrying out their duties, repeatedly coming and going in and out of the voting enclosure, talking to voters in the voting enclosures, including discussing political issues. Huge no. This is all, you can't do this. Attempted to go into the ballot marking area behind voting equipment, interfering with voters, submitting their voted ballots into the tabulator, asking to photograph voter forms with confidential information on them, following poll workers to their cars and filming them after they had closed the polls. Oh, let them follow me to my car is all I've got
But
to say.
hold up, back up, time out. Why are they wanting to take pictures of voter forms that has confidence? Because it's got your name, your address, all
Right.
that.
They could be with a political group.
Don't come to my house.
Yeah.
I will act a fool in my own house. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody approaching me at the. I don't even like when I go to vote. People trying to ask me what I can promise everyone. So I'm putting this out there for everyone in Onslow County that's listening that works a poll. I promise you, when Kelly Knapp walks up to that place to cast her vote,
the line
she
like the
knows
Red
who
Sea.
she's voting for.
That's
I don't
right.
need you to tell me who to vote for. My mind is already made up. At that point, it's not going to be changed. I don't need the materials. I don't need you to approach me.
Right.
And when that talked about, they approached voters in there to talk about political issues.
They even had a confrontation, a physical confrontation in the parking lot with one voter. And the state board associate general counselor, Paul Cox, said, we have no indication that these sort of behaviors are routine in every county.
But they shouldn't be happening at all.
I don't know of any instant in Onslow County instance. I know there's been little things, but that happens all the time.
Well,
but as far as this type of stuff, no, I've never seen it in Onslow County.
But the other thing is, most people do know who. Very few people don't know. Maybe there is some human that doesn't know who they're voting for till they literally walk in there.
Right.
But most people do. But there is no reason to be belligerent with anybody, to bully them, to shove materials in their face. If someone, like, for example, when my husband was running and we were all standing out there and we had even workers for him, we told them, offer the materials. If somebody don't want it, don't push, don't whatever.
That's right.
You be courteous. Do not talk down to somebody. You thank people no matter what, because that's what you should do.
Right.
Don't have to be pushy. Don't stand in somebody's way, because people, everyone has a personal space proximity.
Right.
And some people's proximity is close. Some is a more wider berth.
Right.
Okay. And you can look at a person's body language and kind of tell whether they're, anxious, upset, irritated, whatever. Respect that.
You can generally tell if you get somebody walking up that sidewalk and they're looking down and they don't look at you and they're not smiling.
They don't want to know. They don't want your stuff
to be bothered. So don't you just? Well, generally, I would just say thank you for voting today, sir.
Because in the end, I don't care who a person votes for. I just want them to go out and vote, exercise their right. It doesn't matter to me who you vote for. That's
Exactly.
your choice. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to do anything. Just please go vote. And it's sad that stuff like this makes people not want to vote.
Right.
But when you got people taking pictures of controversial, I mean, sensitive information that's confidential, I have a huge problem with that.
Right. Right.
Huge problem.
Yes, I do too. And is somebody going to follow me out to my vehicle in the
You
parking
better
lot?
not follow me because that's
Right.
going to lead me to believe you're trying to do me some harm.
This is a poll
And I will
worker,
act
yeah,
appropriately.
that followed a
Mhm.
person in the public after the polls had closed, and one is they got into a confrontation with the voter in the parking lot.
Mm-mm.
Now I'm gonna tell you what.
People have, okay, look, let me say this.
I'd be like, just
People
lift your
have
hand
weapons
toward-
now.
Right.
They have weapons. And people that feel threatened may use said weapons. So
Mhm.
keep that in mind. I mean, but why would you
Which
want to know that?
they shouldn't have a weapon
No.
out there anyway, because most of the time it's at a school or
Yeah.
some other property that
People keep
doesn't
weapons
allow.
in their car, so
That's right. Well, I'll tell you
yeah.
what, somebody got up in my face yelling and confronting me and
Mhm.
videotaping. I can't say a can of mace might not come out.
Well, because like I said,
Get this
you're
close.
not going to win over any voters to whoever you're representing by acting out.
As that,
Exactly.
exactly.
And by saying, belittling who they voted for or belittling the individual, that is not how you treat people.
Exactly.
I,
And
like I said,
voting is a privilege. It's a
but
right
it's an
that you've
individu's
earned.
right.
It's a right
You
that you've
can't
earned.
make somebody vote for
And
your
just
candidate.
just seeing somebody come out to vote, that does my heart good.
Absolutely.
Because we need everyone to get out and vote.
And let's say
Everyone.
it's a person that doesn't vote very often or maybe he's never voted. Then all of a sudden they go and they get attacked or followed or whatever. You think they're going to vote again? Absolutely not.
No.
But you see these people that come out and, they get so angry if you don't vote the way they do.
And I'm
So
not
what?
sure when early voting starts. I'll find out today because I didn't get the
Mhm.
dates. But I understand there are going to be 5 early voting
Yes, here in
locations
Onslow,
in
yeah.
Onslow County.
Yeah.
So,
Which is
and
good. It needs
which
to
is
be
good.
spread out.
And I think last
Yeah.
time we went, 2.5 seemed like 3 months of
Mhm.
early voting. So there's no reason whatsoever. And I encourage, I know Onslow County or people here do not have a tendency to get out and early vote. They
Mhm.
like to wait till election day, and you can see that by the numbers that come in every day, and it's reported. But
Mhm.
it's so easy; you can walk right up. There's no waiting. You don't have a bunch of people standing out on the sidewalk. You can go right in, and in the comfort of your own mind, and in your own space in that
Mhm.
voting booth, make your choices.
I early vote mainly because with my schedule and with
Right.
clients and stuff,
You never
I had
know.
that concern that if, heaven forbid, on voting day, if I have a client in crisis or something, I may not be able to get to vote.
That's right.
So I early vote. I usually wait towards the end of early voting.
Right.
But I definitely early vote for that reason. And let me tell you, my mother last election, not the primary, but
Right.
last year,
Right.
2020 election,
Right.
that one, attempted to vote. No, it was last year, 2021. I guess it must have been municipal. Anyway, mom attempted to vote absentee.
Right.
They lost her first one,
Good Lord.
sent her another one,
Mm.
said that one was null and void, so her vote didn't count. For those of you who don't know my mama, my
I
mom
would have
is
been
very,
livid.
she is voted her entire life. My mother was, and she's 84, she was fit to be tied.
Mm.
So she has already said this election cycle locally, back home in Rockingham County, is she will be going in person. So I strongly suspect I'm going to have to take a day off work, go up there to drive her to her thing for that, because she keeps telling people. I didn't know it till recently. I don't know. Maybe I did and just had forgotten about it. That's probably the case. She was talking about it when I was home a couple of weeks ago to somebody. That has ticked my mama off. I mean,
Go,
like, that's
Mama!
like
I don't
serious
blame her
business.
one
Like, she was
bit.
mad.
That would just make me so
She
angry.
was so upset that her vote
I
was not
feel like
counted.
my
Yes.
my rights have been
Yeah.
denied and
It
taken
has
away from
upset
me.
my mama.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah, so there will be no absentee voting for her. And she
Right.
did it because she's a senior. It's hard for my
Right.
mom to get around. Nope. I guess if I have to carry her on my back, she will make me take her to that polling place, which that's
Well, take
fine.
my truck and
Yeah.
just put a recliner in the
Yeah.
back, and it'll just pull her right
Yeah.
up
Just
there.
pull it up. Like pulling a sled behind
Yes.
a car or something like that. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll figure it out.
Well, real quick, Maysville, the boil water advisory,
Is it lifted?
it's lifted now. So
Yay!
the water is
Yeah.
drinkable again in Maysville for
That's a good
anybody
thing. I know
from
people are
Maysville
happy.
listening to
Yeah.
us.
Good.
Good news. Good news.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But yeah, so I don't know. I think we need to watch. So I don't know what that means that the lower courts are going to have to go back and do whatever the lower courts do.
Right.
They got to prove something. But I don't understand. I guess I need to do more research on what this local racial bias is. I know it probably has to do with the voting districts, but those were all redrawn
Right.
and they proved them, right? Yeah, they didn't they? Finally, weren't they
Yes.
approved?
Yes.
So then they should be satisfied. So
Right.
what is the argument now?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just, and we're heating up now. We're getting very close to that political time of the year
It is
because
heating up, yeah.
we've got the general election in November.
Mhm.
So you'll start getting campaign literature. You'll start seeing more and more events around the county
Yeah.
for both sides, having meet and greets. And I know the Republican Party just had a huge one Saturday night.
Mhm.
So these are your opportunities that these political parties are giving you, the taxpayer, the citizen, the voter, a chance to come out and meet your candidate. Just don't sit there and listen to one group tout. I'm talking about the non-political groups, the little action committees and stuff like that, and political action packs that are out there that are in every county
Mhm.
that'll give you a balance. Say this is who you need to vote for. They have self-interest.
Oh, I don't need a ballot. I don't want
Right.
somebody to hand me a ballot that has to check these names off. I'm smart enough to do my
Right.
own research and make my own mind up. And that's what I'm saying. Like I just think, people should be given the opportunity to make their own mind up. So,
That's right.
all right, let's
Well,
take a break. I mean, it's
yep.
time. We're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back. And we were looking online and just got some, I guess, what's like breaking news.
Breaking news.
I had talked on Friday about in the Ukraine that nuclear power plant that Russia's threatening to cut the power to. And they're saying if that did, it would be more catastrophic than um, the power plant in Japan, as well as Chernobyl. It would be like 4 times more catastrophic. Well, this morning, apparently, Russia, who doesn't heed anything, began shelling, um, you know, across the river from there, and it wounded 4 people. And the U.S. had been pleading all day yesterday and last night and part of this morning, please don't shell near this power plant. And they struck overnight last night, which hitting houses, a kindergarten, the bus station, and a bunch of stores. And 4 people were wounded, and 2 were in the hospital. And Russia's still doing it, and they're saying this is a huge problem. And the UN Secretary General, um, you know, has been discussing with Biden and Britain, France, and Germany on Sunday because this is a huge, huge, huge deal.
Right.
And,
Certainly.
that this is beyond dangerous. I mean, the word dangerous is not even significant enough to say how bad this really is. And Russia's just doing their thing. Either they don't care, which would probably be my first thought, or they aren't understanding that this will affect them as well. This is not just going to affect the people of the Ukraine. I don't know. It's going to affect their own troops. Like, hello.
I know, really. And just a thought of a nuclear plant being blown up, that's really dangerous. We were just
Yeah.
reading about a fallout. Fallout radiation decays relatively quick with
Yes.
time, but most areas become fairly safe for travel and decontamination 3 to 5 weeks after
Yeah.
3 to
3
5
to
weeks.
5 weeks.
So in the
That's a lot. In the
meantime, that's
meantime,
right.
it's bad.
That's right.
And now Russia is mad because the daughter of one of Putin's um, political theorists was killed in a car bomb
Right.
Saturday night. So they're
Yes.
saying that was
His
intentional.
brain.
Yeah, they call him his
Putin's brain.
So they're mad about that. So I mean, I get it. They're going to
Gosh,
target
I
family
would hate
members.
to have to do a
Yeah.
whole program on how to survive a nuclear blast.
I'm telling you.
in your preparations. I
Yeah.
mean, we generally talk about hurricanes, and
Mhm.
I'd hate to have to be talking about a nuclear bomb
Well,
because
it'd be hard for all of us to do because we don't have bomb shelter. It means a whole lot we
Right.
don't have. So
Well,
it's
it
very
says,
little we could do.
well, you'd have to shelter in place, and they also still advise
To
you
seal your
to
windows
seal
and
your windows, block your
yeah.
doors, windows, everything for air
Mhm.
gaps.
Yeah.
And the one time you forget and walk outside, or
You're
you walk
done.
into the garage,
Yep.
and here you've got all those air gaps.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
yeah, not something I want to do. I'm
I'd have
telling
to
you that
put a
right
litter
now.
box in the bathroom for the
I don't know.
dogs.
My dogs, I don't know what they would do. They'd be like, "Why are we not going outside?" I
Right.
just don't know what. I don't know. That's just
Come
a
back in
scary,
hairless.
scary thought. Yeah. But they can, but when a person gets radiation sickness like that, they
Right.
can transmit that to others. And oh, no,
Well,
no.
did you know the United States only has a limited ability to destroy all incoming nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles?
What?
Yes.
Did not know that.
Yes, yes,
Did not
yes,
know
yes,
that.
yes.
Oh, my word.
Can a nuclear bomb destroy a whole country? Depending on its impact radius, even a SAR bomb, I can't say that, I don't know what that is, cannot destroy a whole country. Only a small country such as Vatican City or Monaco with a land areas of 44 HA and 202 HA respectively can be destroyed with a nuclear weapon. Well, okay.
I don't even know what to say about that. It's super scary. Super scary.
Well, the safest place to live during a nuclear war is Iceland. So they're saying Iceland.
Well, I need to go to Iceland then.
It's located in the North Atlantic Ocean, has
Yeah.
a population over 300,000 and an area of 103,000 square kilometers. It's one of the safest countries in case of a nuclear war due to its isolation, lack of military, and geothermal energy.
Well, it's a beautiful country. If you've never seen pictures, it's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. It's very green there.
Really?
Mhm.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. And Greenland is very icy. That's weird. But
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. The pictures in Iceland are beautiful. Yeah.
Well, they're saying the U.S. cities that would most likely be nuked:
Oh, absolutely.
Washington,
Yes,
New
New
York
York,
City,
LA.
and L.A.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I don't like any of those cities. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll tell you,
Wow.
we need to strengthen up our military. We need to strengthen up our reserve. It's Monday. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We've got the anniversary of 9/11 coming up soon.
Mhm.
So,
Couple weeks. Yeah.
and with these open borders, there's no telling how many terrorists have
I don't even want that. I
walked into our
shudder to
country.
think. Yes. All right, let's take our next break. We're live in local real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back. So, anything popping up on your radar over there?
Well, I was just looking at the events here in Onslow County on the Only in Onslow website, and we have a Marine Corps half marathon on September 10th. Now, maybe a quarter marathon I'd do.
I will do no marathon. Thank you. Yeah.
And
I'll be there to
so
cheer everybody on.
we'll have to get more information on that. And of course, we have the Swansboro Mullet Festival, October 8th through
Oh,
October 9th.
that's a big deal.
That's
Yeah.
always a big deal.
Yeah.
Lots of fun, lots of food.
Mm-hmm.
Onslow Oktoberfest, October 21st to 22nd. Isn't the 21st, isn't that the night of Dancing with the Stars?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So that'd be a busy week
Mhm.
in Onslow County
Yeah,
for
yeah.
everybody. And then, of course, the Shrimp Festival, Sneeze Ferry Shrimp Festival, is also on October 21st. So through the 22nd. So that's going to be a very busy weekend for
Mhm.
everybody.
Mhm.
And of course, then you got your Onslow Veterans Powwow. That's November 5th. And
I'm
yeah,
telling you what, that
that
powwow
was
was a
fantastic, wasn't
fantastic
it?
thing last year, and
Yes,
I
it
tell you, if
was.
people have not been, highly recommend.
Yes, that was at the
Yeah,
American
at
Legion
the
building
yeah,
last year, and it
it
was a
was
weekend
outdoor, and yeah,
event.
and that's to for Native American
Yes,
veterans, and it was they actually do a powwow,
right.
and it, a lot of kids I knew went, and I mean, I highly suggest people go to that. They will love it.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you have, which is not listed here yet, but I'm sure it will be soon. The first Saturday in November is your Veterans Parade on Western
Mhm.
Boulevard.
Mhm.
And then we have November 12th, Swansboro by Candlelight,
That's a
which is,
big deal there. People
yes,
love that.
how so nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
get to go this year. And the Christmas holiday, see, they
Mhm.
have it listed Christmas
Because it is
holiday.
Christmas holiday. Yeah.
And I'm so glad to see
Yeah.
that. It used
Mhm.
to be Jacksonville Holiday
Yeah.
Parade. Now
Nope,
it's
Christmas holiday
we have
parade.
Christmas back in there.
Yeah.
So let me see. It looks like the theme this year is going to be the 12 days of Christmas.
All
So
right.
that ought to be pretty good. We'll have
Need
to
to get
figure
cracking.
out
Yeah. Yeah.
a theme for a
Mhm.
certain float that you may
Mhm.
see in that parade.
Yeah.
Swansboro Christmas Flotilla, that's on the water,
Yeah.
November 25th. Jacksonville Winterfest
Artisan
Art,
market.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Artisan
Yeah.
Market. I was like stumbling over that one. That's December 2nd. And Ocean City Jazz Festival, which is over at Ocean City, North Topsail
That's
Beach.
July.
That's July 2023. Boy,
They're
they just getting
planning.
ahead of themselves there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, they just got finished with one. It
Mhm.
was a 2-day event, a weekend event. We tried to get somebody to come on and talk about it, but
They were too
nobody wanted.
busy.
They were so busy getting
Yep.
ready.
Yep.
So
Understand
anyway,
that. Yeah.
lots of stuff coming
A
up.
whole lot
And
of stuff. Yeah.
if you just go to your computer and punch in Only in Onslow, you'll go
Mhm.
right to their website, and it even promotes some small businesses,
Mhm.
reunions. I hear the class of 72 Jacksonville High School may be having their reunion soon.
Okay.
And what we like to do, all the other classes, we like to invade them. So
What?
yeah, we like to crash them.
Oh.
Hey, we're alumni.
Oh. Oh no.
Be prepared. We just may. I'll have to send out a memo to all my people
Mhm.
from my year and say,
Well, y'all
hey,
do things differently here than we do back home because our class, my 35th is coming up on October 15th, and I'm one of the ones in charge of it. But we cater, so you gotta have RSVP'd and paid your money, or you don't eat.
well, see, when
Yeah.
you're having places like, say, Marina
Mhm.
Cafe,
Oh yeah, no,
now
we
you can go in
yeah
there to get your food and
yeah.
drink and just kind of wander
Oh no,
into the
ours is
room.
no. We're at an event center
Yes,
back home, so
right.
yeah, you have no choice but to. You
Oh,
got to be on the list.
no, we
Yeah.
like to sneak into the
No,
others.
that's how you get in a fight right there.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. All right, it's top of the hour. We got to do our 60-second Fox News break. We're live in local real talk. See you in 60 seconds. All right, and we are back for our last hour.
Yeah, where's
Um,
everybody
yeah,
at?
it's Monday. They're getting ready for work. It's rainy. And rainy Mondays make you tired. They just do. So that's like
Well,
a
let me
stay home
just
and
say,
sleep
if I
day.
wasn't here, I'd still
Hmm.
be in my pajamas
Yeah,
laying on the
that's what I'm
couch,
saying.
dozing in
So
between the
yeah,
news
yeah.
broadcast.
So I did see in Wisconsin. Remember I talked before the last couple of months about you know school controversies and school board things
Yes,
and et
yes.
cetera. So apparently, um, the Wisconsin school board, a Wisconsin school board, I don't, let me see what county it is. It doesn't say.
Oh,
Um,
there you go.
they have had, they have banned Black Lives Matters and LGBTQ flags from the classrooms, saying that teachers and administration will not have political flags or religious messaging in their classroom. Okay, I
I
get it.
agree with
Yeah.
that. Yes.
So they voted last Tuesday to keep a code of conduct in place that they're trying to and the political messages include ones such as gay pride, Black Lives Matter, and we back the badge. So I mean, I get it. So, and I also included banning teachers from including their preferred pronouns in email signatures. So, I mean, I agree. The school is not a place for political
That's
stuff.
right. That's right.
Period.
That's right. I
So,
agree
and
100%.
and the
It's a place of learning.
yes. So, I just
Did our caller hang up?
no, they're on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I just
They're
want to
so
finish what I was
quiet.
saying before I
Oh,
got them on there. Yeah. So, but anyway, so we'll see. You're going to see a rise in this, I believe, throughout the United States. There's things that parents and stuff are
right.
taking stuff back.
Right.
So, all right, caller. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Steve. How y'all ladies doing this
Hey,
morning?
Good
good. How
morning,
are you?
Steve. Good to hear from you.
Oh, doing good. Good. I was going to call at the end of last week to say what a great job y'all been doing while Rachel was away, but I was like right at the borderline when you were signing off.
Oh, well, we appreciate
Well,
that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
We've already been nicknamed the Hen House Chronicles, so
Well, whatever.
I,
That's what I
I,
am. Yeah.
it's
Hen House headlines. That one ain't copyrighted.
That's true. You know what? I
That's a
like
good
that.
one.
That's a good
That's
one.
a
That's
good
true.
one.
Yeah, it's not copyrighted. So, what's on your mind?
Not a whole lot, honestly. I just want to call in and praise how good y'all been doing
Thank
while
you.
Rachel was away. And there's a lot of things that's on my mind, but like y'all said last week, it's nice to have a break from the political
Yes, we had to.
stuff a little bit and
We were
talk about
burnt
local
out.
things. And y'all talked about a lot of important issues to Onslow County and stuff like that. And I don't live in Onslow County, so that's kind of the reason why I didn't call in and comment on a lot. But I watched or listened to it and watched it on YouTube, and y'all doing really good.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
Well,
we,
thank you.
we,
And
we consider all our surrounding counties home
Yeah.
also.
well, and a lot
Family.
of them
We're Texas,
have the same
Yeah.
issues. A lot of
Right.
them do. Yeah.
Yes.
right?
So,
And I mean, Onslow County. I've been in Carteret County, and we both counties depend on each other for different reasons and
That's
stuff.
right.
And what other one county does affects another one. Like the YMCA and the pool. That's a big thing for Onslow County and the surrounding counties. But
All right, would you like to see you'd like to see a pool come in?
I'd like to see anything that kind of helps out the community, and that's always been a positive thing anywhere they put one in. It seems like so. Yeah, I would like to see one, there for sure.
I agree with that.
Awesome. Yes,
I
I
mean,
agree with it
yeah.
too.
I definitely
And
think.
I would prefer to see somebody like the YMCA have it
Well, that's I
rather than
grew
the
up.
county or the city taking responsibility.
I agree. I grew up in a town with a huge, very active, still active to this day YMCA with, I mean, and with an Olympic sized pool. That's where I learned to swim at 3 years old.
Right.
And it's I mean, and they have all kinds of sports, and that's where I cheerleaded as a little kid
Right.
for the youth football league.
Mhm.
They have tennis court. I mean, but in my hometown, look, y'all got to understand, my hometown has like what, maybe 25,000 people in it. If I might be generous with that number, but we have a huge YMCA. So I'm thinking if Eden, North Carolina, can have a huge YMCA, I don't understand why we don't have a bigger one here, because we've got like 4 times the population as
There's
we
a
have.
lot of things that
Yeah.
I don't understand why we don't have it here with being such a
Mhm.
large community.
Yeah.
And I have no answer for it. I don't know.
But I think
I'd like to see.
we'd be a good place. Everybody needs to learn how to swim.
Right.
And I think it would be a perfect place, for people to learn to swim. I'd go swim at the Y if we had a pool here. Had a
Sure.
YMCA with a pool. Absolutely, I would. Yeah.
Right.
And that's where I learned to swim when I was a
Yeah,
kid as well.
same, yeah.
I was born up around Raleigh. We had Hayes Park and then Pullins Park. We
Yeah.
had two big public pools, but that's the same place I went and learned to swim as well when I was a little kid. So
I mean, it's just a thing. I mean, I started off at in the little polywog, and they named each thing, and worked my way up to shark. I don't know what came after shark, but I just stopped at that point. I
more or
was
less
done.
learned
Yeah.
to swim on my own, but
Yeah.
I'm not a strong swimmer. I
Mhm.
mean, I could get by,
Hmm.
but I'd probably panic
Hmm.
before I swam and probably drown anyway. But the first thing I did when we were getting ready to put a pool in our yard, and my child was young at the time, I took her and got her American Red Cross
Mhm.
swimming lessons, and it was in a building that was right there on Henderson Drive at the time,
Hmm.
Doors Avenue. And Lord, I mean, within 2 days, she was jumping from the high dive, and, from the diving board into the deep area. I mean, I
Yeah.
was panicking. She'd come
Oh,
right
yeah.
back up. She had the best time.
Oh yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
it's important that if you're going to get a swimming pool, if you're going to be at the beach a lot, to teach your kids to swim.
Well, we live at the coast.
That's right.
Lord have mercy. Look at how much water we have around here.
That's right.
From river to the intercoastal waterway to the beach. I mean, why is there no place to teach people how to swim? It's just
we
madness.
used to go as kids. We used to go out to the air station and swim in their pool.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, y'all were
but
military, but
yeah,
all the people,
we
if you're
were-
not
yeah.
military, you can't.
Nope, can't.
It's
You
just not
can't
a
do
thing,
anything on the
yeah.
base anymore. And when are they going to open up 172 again? Steve,
Never.
do you ever travel from Carteret County to Sneads Ferry?
What do you mean by Carteret County to Sneads Ferry?
Like if you're coming into Onslow County from Carteret County and you want to go to Sneads Ferry, you used to be able to go through the back gate.
you can't do that now.
anymore.
No, you have to go.
I mean,
on 24.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I always thought that was an odd thing for them to do, to have a security checkpoint that they just let anybody go
I
through.
agree with that.
It just never made any sense to me, because it was required that you make that left-hand turn going to Onslow Beach instead of making a right-hand turn to take you back to Courthouse Bay.
Right.
And there was nobody there to stop you. You could have just turned right and went right on back on base, went anywhere you wanted to go.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Well, I just always found that it was just so easy to go through the back gate to get to the other side of the county, and now you
Yeah.
go all the way around.
But I agree.
But that was all
totally.
pre 9/11,
Yes,
just like
you're-
Fort Bragg. You used to be able to drive right on Fort Bragg. You didn't even know when you were on it.
And
Yeah.
you're correct. And
Yeah.
like me, sometimes we forget about those things.
Yeah, but
that are
I,
important.
I agree. Even back before that, I absolutely could not believe that he's right. You could just go and U-turn and get anywhere. I mean,
Right.
but you can also boat right up to the base, because I've actually done it. So there's that. I mean,
Yes.
if someone wanted to infiltrate Camp Lejeune, I'm sorry, but there's a whole lot of ways you could do it, especially by water. Yeah. Yeah.
Security is really a facade, to be
I
honest
agree
with you.
100%,
Those people standing out there at those gates, it's somebody trying to circumvent that. It's extremely easy. As a matter of fact, that's some of the first things they teach, like force recon and stuff like that. That's one of the first things they do, is how to take out a guard station.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and they've improved it a little bit, like they've got those spiky things that come up out of the ground now. But like I said, this base, I would never try to infiltrate through the gate. I'd come in through the water if I were a terrorist. That's what I would do. I'm sorry to say it, but they need to shore up their security around that, because it's very easy to get on
I'm
the
sure
base.
they'll see them coming from
Right.
miles, though.
You can
I
go.
would
You
hope.
can dock your boat and get right over there by the golf course.
Well, that happened
Right.
not long ago.
And
remember?
reality, but what they also know is that usually somebody does something like that evil, they hit soft targets. They don't go for hardened targets.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Jacksonville Mall on payday.
Yes.
that's a much easier target. So
Does
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
go to the mall anymore?
They do because they've got laser tag there. Absolutely.
Oh, really? They do?
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
they opened a new arcade in there too. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
And people like the
okay.
arcade. Yeah, I've got clients that go to that arcade. They love it.
I
Yeah.
didn't know. I know they
Yeah.
have.
That's my
ice cream.
grandson thinks it's the bomb.
Yes, yes, yes. My grandson goes to the arcade. Yes, he loves it. I agree. Yeah.
This is- oh, I haven't
He
been in
came
there
back and had to tell me all about it.
Oh yeah. I'm not a fan. Like, it's just too people-y for me. But I have heard that the laser tag there is really fun. I just haven't
I've
gone
been
to play.
to the one
I
in
love
Wilmington.
laser tag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to the
I
one in
haven't been in
Wilmington, but I
years.
didn't know we had one here in
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
right there.
Wow.
Yep, where Ulta was.
That's
Yep.
good.
Mhm.
Oh, Alta's. That's right, because they
Because
moved.
they're down by Publix now.
Lord
Yeah.
have mercy, I can't keep up with
Yeah.
this town.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I'm glad that you called, and
Yeah.
if
I got-
anything on your
I
mind, call
appreciate it.
us because we're always looking for topics.
I was going to say I would like to throw one slightly political comment out there that I was thinking about.
Go ahead.
And this is just an analysis from what I see. It seems like the political climate nowadays. You can take all the people on the left and put them in a room with a bag of hammers and a bag of nails, and come back in a few hours. Every one of them will have busted their thumb open, and they will try and make you believe that it was the hammer's fault or the people who made the hammer.
That's a
Mhm.
good point. I like that analogy.
But now all the people on the right, if you put them in a room with a barrel full of cookies, you come back in a few hours, all the cookies are gone, all of them got crumbs all over them, but they're going to try and make you believe it was the Democrats that done it.
I can see that too.
Yep, I can
Yeah.
see that too.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know you do follow politics. Let me ask you this real quick. I talked earlier about, the North Carolina Supreme Court looking at overturning the voter ID thing, but now they've sent it back to the lower court saying, prove it. How do you feel on voter ID? What is your opinion?
I'm split on it because if you require somebody to have an ID, that is something that you have to purchase. If IDs were free, it'd be a little bit different issue. If you have to purchase the ID in order to vote, then you're having to pay to vote, and that's against the Constitution. So that's the technicality that kind of hangs me up. But I think if you have an ID, you should be able to just hold it up and say, "This is me." When I go to vote, if I try and show them my ID, they freak out.
They do, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, "No, don't pull that out! Don't pull that out!"
Well,
and I'm like,
because my name is so
You know,
hard
we're-
to pronounce and spell, my real name. And so it's easier just to hand it to them, and they're like, "Thank you."
But they do freak out. They
Right.
did it to me too,
Right.
so he's right.
and then
Right.
there's also like in Native Americans who live on tribal land. They don't necessarily have the proper ID to be able to vote. You would have to make exclusions for that as well. So, like most things, it's not a black and white issue. It's a little gray. So I believe honestly, I would ask somebody to show me where we have a serious problem of people voting and that illegally. Where I know we do, but where it's substantial enough, to matter, or where we're not pursuing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at every election and you can see where they've gone after. They found like one person voted that was dead, or two people voted that were felons and weren't supposed to vote, and they're on top of that. They're finding them, they're catching them. So I don't really feel like the integrity of our elections is in jeopardy as the way some people think it is. I just don't see the problem that they're pointing at. Where they can say, look, we had 10,000 people that voted that weren't supposed to vote. There's not any cases like that.
I agree, and I think that one thing, when my dad passed away in 2019, that was one thing I was concerned about, was that someone wasn't going to go and use his information. But that's when I talked, went back home and confirmed. And, in North Carolina, what's supposed to be happening with the local boards of elections is they get updated of deceased people, and they remove
every month they get a list.
They get a list of everybody that has passed away, and they're supposed to remove them off. And that cuts down on fraud as well, because those names are no longer in the system, or they're listed as deceased. So if someone shows up, for example, like with my dad's name, and went in there and say, hold up,
Right.
So I'm at least very thankful that they do that, and I do believe that cuts down on
Yeah,
things.
I know they do here in Onslow
Yeah.
County. They do it
Mhm.
every month, and I know after my dad passed, and my mother too, I went in and checked, and
Mhm.
they weren't even listed. They were gone.
Yeah, I checked my
Gone.
dad. I confirmed because it bugged me. I just
Yes.
wanted to make sure.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure that
Well,
there's going to be cracks in every
and
type
the
of
integ-
situation.
and the and the integrity of our elections, you know, it's ran by local people, by your local friends and neighbors. There's no centralized government that runs American elections, and that's really one of the great things about our election system. Is that, you know, the federal government really doesn't have any involvement in it. It's all your local friends and neighbors and local polling
Absolutely.
stations, and those people take their commitment or their job pretty seriously.
Yes, they do.
And over 200 years, we put a lot of protections in place to keep people from voting fraudulently or, you know, and stuff like that. Our elections are pretty secure, and that's what baffles me about how people believe that, you know, the last election there was any problems with it without having any proof. You know, how do you come to that conclusion? You know,
I agree.
I
I agree.
agree. I concur with you 100%. Let me ask you this real quick, staying on politics here. How do you feel about having like every race being nonpartisan for everybody?
every being nonpartisan for everybody.
Yes.
I think it's hard to do that because you have people who have leftist views and people who have right
But
views.
what if
And regardless of politics, they're still going to be, you know, conservative and liberal.
What
You
if
know?
we wiped away the two-party system and everybody ran and the voters voted on who they thought was the best person for their job rather than their political party?
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be amazing.
I've had a
I'll
lot of
tell you
people.
something that baffles me is that in the registered voters in America, 25% are Republicans,
Right,
31% are Democrats,
right.
and 42% are independent.
That's
The
right.
largest political party in the United States is the Independent
That's
Party,
right.
and we have
Yes.
no party. We have no leaders. And it's the biggest group voting bloc in America is independent voters. Yeah, and what that tells me is that the majority of the people are middle of the road. You know, they don't subscribe to these extremisms.
I've sent in quite a few voter registrations over the last, I'd say, 3-4 months, and most of them were all for the unaffiliate. And it was either
So tell me
unaffiliates,
something.
and then second was Republicans.
You know, I mean, tell me something. Imagine 20 years ago, somebody told you that Donald Trump was going to have an iron grip on the Republican Party, that the Republican Party would be embracing white nationalism and white supremacy openly. You know, not the whole party, but factions of the party, and you know, and that it would be the Republican Party you see before you today.
Right.
What would you have thought 20 years ago? You know, you probably wouldn't have believed it.
Well, I probably wouldn't have believed it, but I know that since he came onto the scene, and I think he did a great job with his economics and the things that he did for the Americans. I think he did well there, but I think that his other attributes has thoroughly divided the Republican Party and divided it bad. So, and I think that where you once saw a lot of Republicans on his side and still fighting for him, I think you're seeing them pull away now. So I just checked Onslow's. Go ahead.
You're definitely seeing him put a divide in the Republican Party. There's so many Republicans that stood up against him, saying that he was not suited for the job, that they actually have a term for it. They call them rhinos.
Right.
And you know, that's and all those are people in the Republican Party that, you know, stood up against him. And if you're playing checkers instead of chess, you got to ask yourself, if there's a divide in the Republican Party, if Trump tries to run in 2024, Liz Cheney's going to run against him. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. And if she runs against him, she's going to split the Republican vote, which means the Democrats will win. Which means the Democrats will win in 2024. And if they know that, they're going to put forth a very progressive candidate in 2024. If they know the Republican vote's going to be split, they know they're going to win.
And I
So-
agree with you 100%. I was just checking Onslow County registrations, and this is August 20th. What's today?
Today's the 22nd.
Okay, this was as Friday, I think it was. Unaffiliates have gained on us again. Right now, they're ahead by 1,684 registrations.
Well, people are fed up with the nonsense within the Republican Party. I'm telling you,
I
that's
mean,
a lot that's doing it.
It's been
There
since
is
all this.
too much BS, nonsense, backfighting, play fighting, whatever fighting, and it turns people off. They need to grow up and knock this mess off. Period. Bottom line, and it's
Absolutely.
even
I
happening
agree.
locally.
But I say if you don't purge that nonsense from the Republican Party, what you're going to do is you're going to wind up with the most progressive Democrat president we've ever had.
You are
And
correct.
I believe
If you-
that's what happened in the 2020 elections. That's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but they didn't know for sure if they were going to win or not. If Trump runs again and Liz Cheney runs against him, that'll split the vote, and the Democrats will know they're going to win, and that's when you're going to get somebody you would never believe. You know, Bernie Sanders might become president.
Lord. Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren might become, Pete Buttigieg or one of those characters, and that's why I say Biden is really the president you wanted.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree. I just
He's the most moderate one of the candidates that they had available. If it was going to be one, that's the one you wanted, unfortunately. But
I agree.
oh my. All right. Well, thanks
But
for
anyway,
calling.
like I
Yeah, we
say,
got to take a break.
Always a
So we
I
pleasure.
appreciate
you
it.
calling in.
Once again, you ladies are doing really good. They're going to be like Rayford Who when he gets back.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
thank you for
ghosting
that.
us
Yeah.
right now again.
Yeah, he's out there diving and
So he's having a good
doing
time.
his
He's
thing.
ghosting
Yep,
us. So
yep.
we just
yeah.
if
My
things
heart
might
goes
be
out to him.
different.
I know he's doing it with a sadness over his
Yes,
heart,
he
so my heart
is.
goes out to you,
Yes.
Rayford.
Yes.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Thank you.
But
We
yeah.
appreciate that for him.
All right. Well, thank you, and we will talk to you later on.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, y'all have a good day.
Thanks.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's take a break. We're live in Local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back, and it's time to do some weather.
It sure is.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, fall might be right around the corner, but the waters remain warm enough to enjoy tubing and water skiing. And the good news is that Tideline Marine has a sale on water toys right now. So go by and pick you up a fancy, cute little tow-away tube, which are marked down, and take advantage of the savings because they would make good Christmas presents.
Mhm.
And just think about getting one of those for Christmas. I mean, you'd be so anxious for
Mhm.
spring to come along. So, and something else to think about if you think you want to buy a new John boat or a bay boat, Tideline Marine has a new boat that you could. I'm sorry, my screen went
I
blank
saw
on me,
that.
and I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, lost." Tideline has a sale for any new boat currently in stock, $5,000 off of any new boat that you buy between now and the end of August. Along with the savings, Tideline will throw in a bag containing 4 life jackets. So go down and visit Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Today, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to 20 knots, increasing 15 to 20 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, building 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 4 seconds. Tuesday, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, dominant period 6 seconds. Wednesday, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, with the adjacent sounds and rivers with a light chop.
Today, showers and thunderstorms, with some of the thunderstorms could produce heavy rainfall. In between that, mostly cloudy, high of 84. Tonight, same. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, low of 72. Tomorrow, same. Mostly cloudy, otherwise, a high of 84. At least it's not overly hot.
Yes.
Tomorrow night, looks like it's a slight chance. Mostly cloudy, high of 72. Oh, that's a little bit hot for overnight. And then Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a high of 85 with a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. So it's hit or miss, I guess. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think about it. But this is reminisce of when Florence hit us. Remember, we had solid rain for 2-3 weeks prior
Telling
to
you,
it.
I'm telling you, that's what my clients said. They said this
Yeah.
season is just the way set up just for Florence.
Just enough to loosen all the tree roots.
Yeah, we'll see. We have a caller. Good morning, caller. Who's this?
You have a caller, Mike McHugh over in Swansboro.
Well,
ladies. Good
hi,
morning.
Mike.
Hey, how are you?
I was just saying
Hey.
I've got to call you a little bit later on today and talk to you about is it Monday?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk. Give me a call.
I will.
Tuesday right now looks pretty wide open.
Thank
so
you.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah,
Yes.
you do.
I have to have my partner.
Hey, I want to take you guys back to the Calum speaking of a few moments ago,
Go
in,
for it.
only in Onslow, and
Yes.
throw out some other events that are happening around the area, not necessarily in Swansboro, but some of them are in Swansboro. On the 17th of September, this is right up your alley, Kelly, the Tunnels to Towers 5K walk or run.
Ooh.
Operative word there is walk, Kelly.
I can do that. I can do that.
I know you can.
Yes.
Anybody can do that. Starts at 8:30 in the morning. Go to the number 2t.org to learn more and to register. They had about last year, and they had like 400 or 500 runners,
Wow.
including
Holy
moms and
cow.
strollers. Yeah, and so they're expecting more this year.
That was in Swansboro?
Yeah, in Swansboro. It's going to be going through the historic area. They got water
Ooh.
stations, and they have a route mapped out. So it should be a lot of fun. 17 September. That same day, the St. Peter's by the Sea Episcopal Church is having their annual lobster sale. They're bringing it back.
Ooh.
They took a hiatus for a couple of years thanks to China. But you can order your lobsters now through September 5th and go into stpetersbythesea.org. The proceeds of the previous years have gone to nonprofits in Onslow County. So it's doing good work. The church is doing good work and putting the proceeds back
Wow.
to those helpful nonprofits, including like Onslow Community Outreach, Onslow Literacy, and the like, Onslow Women's Center as well. So those are two events on the 17th. October 23rd is Beirut Memorial on Sunday. And I've heard from sources that General Gray is coming down for the event
Ooh.
on October 23rd.
Yeah.
Al Gray, yeah.
Yes, I love
It's
him.
a Sunday this year.
Yes.
Next year will be the can you believe it, the 40th anniversary.
Oh,
40th
year.
anniversary. Wow. And it just seems like it was
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you, Bill, you probably remember it well, like it was just yesterday. But
I
it's an
remember.
important observance, and I've tried to go to all of them since I've been living here, and with the paper I covered several of those. Some fun events coming up on October 30th at Hammocks Beach State Park. They're going to try to bring back Trunk or Treat in the parking lot there. That's a lot of fun for the kids, and it's the day before Halloween, so it's October 30th, Sunday. And then you mentioned about Swansboro by Candlelight. The downtown merchants put that on. But earlier in the day, the Swansboro High School Century Club has a chowder cook-off at Casper's Marina. That's on November 12th. So lots of stuff happening. Yeah, lots of stuff happening.
Swansboro High School.
I know.
Yeah, Swansboro High School, the Century Club. It's their booster club for the athletic programs. And typically they have, about 10 or 12 various styles of clam chowder. And they get judged, and you can buy bowls of chowder to eat there or take it home to go.
Well, what organization that used to have that oyster roast every year in
That's the Rotary.
The Rotary.
That's in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And the proceeds there go to scholarship.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and they had it last year. And it's typically like the second or third weekend in March. It's usually right when the NCAA basketball is taking place, because they have big screens inside the Rotary Center.
Oh, well, yes.
That's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
And,
out of town this weekend this year when they had it. So that's
Right.
how, it
It's
was
gluttony.
definitely in March. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of things are happening in the big town of Smallsboro.
You bet.
course.
You bet.
That's
Yeah, it's a
right.
friendly city by the sea.
Yeah.
That's right. It is. Very
Yeah.
friendly.
I enjoy the show, ladies.
Well,
Continue.
thank you.
Thank you.
And
Continue
I'll call
your
you
craft.
later on today.
All right, I'll be around.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Give me a shout.
All
Thanks,
right. I
Mike.
will.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Mike is always so informative, and that's
Yes.
a good thing. I mean,
Yes.
I could see a lot of people going to that chowder cook-off because people like stuff
Right.
like that. And November, that's the time of year where it's starting to get I won't say chilly, but not as hot. So that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot of happenings around Onslow
Mhm.
County. You can't say there's nothing to do in
I
Onslow
agree.
County.
You cannot say it's nothing to do.
Because just like, some of these things that he told us about, like the St. Petersburg by the sea having the lobster sale.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that's good. And of course, the Beirut Memorial is something that if you've never been, you need to go to that service.
I'm
It's
telling you, if
very
you've never been
moving.
there, I've been to that service. I went
Yes.
last year or the year. Yeah.
It's extremely
Yeah, it's
moving.
very.
And you will bawl. You will
Yeah,
cry.
you
You'll cry
will.
like a baby.
Yeah. But that's okay. It's very important. It's a beautiful, that whole area is very
Yes,
beautiful.
and that's
So
where the Museum of the Marine is
it's
going
going
to
to
be
be
built
going.
at
Yeah.
soon too.
Yeah.
And there's also a piece from the actual tower, one of the towers
From
from
9/11.
9/11,
Yep.
sitting right out there
Yeah.
too. And you look at that big piece of steel and those
Yeah.
great big rivets, and you
Yeah.
wonder how in the world
Mhm.
did it fall like that? But the heat from it,
The
and
heat
of
from
course
the fire. Yeah.
it's just crazy. But I
Mhm.
remember when they brought that in.
I remember when they brought it in. Yeah.
And it was during the 4th of July,
Mhm.
and we were on base. I was with my dad. So we were in the area where we actually got to sit with some of those firefighters from New York. And
Mhm.
I remember the one that was sitting at my table, and I hope someday I can find the pictures, but it was just such
Mhm.
awesomeness to
Yeah.
sit there with these firefighters from New York and these police officers and military, everybody coming together. It
Mhm.
was just awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. We have a caller. Oh, there's a tone. Tim, call right back because there's the tone. Okay, he'll call right back. It was Tim. He'll call back.
Yeah, we had to hear
Um,
from a rooster man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an extremely moving experience. And I thought I read somewhere where they were going to move it from Sunday to Saturday, but I can't say for sure. I'll have to research it. But as it is right now, it is
Mhm.
listed for Sunday, which is October 23rd.
Well,
So
I tell people I don't know how you could live here and not have gone over to that whole facility because it is gorgeous and there's a walking path and a
yes,
lot
the
of people.
Beirut Gardens.
Yeah, I
It's
mean it
beautiful
is
over
beautiful, and
there.
you can walk past the Vietnam Memorial
Right.
loops all the way around.
Yes, it
It's
does.
very beautiful grounds.
It's a nice
Um,
place. I see a lot of people go there for lunch
People go
and
there
just
for
sit
lunch.
there.
People walk. People
Right.
I see people walking a lot of times.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
history right there in the Beirut
yeah,
Gardens.
yeah. It's just very pretty. I mean, it's free.
Right.
So if you just need to go and at least go and see it and see all the good things that we do have here.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take our break a minute or two early. Give Tim time to call back.
Right.
We're live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we are back. And I don't know if you remember, last month there was a convention of young conservative activists that was held in Florida. And now there has been an arrest made. A man in Texas is arrested earlier this month after FBI agents arrested him, alleging that he posted threats on social media to carry out a mass attack on the Turning Point USA Student Action Summit convention. And it was held in Tampa from July 22nd to July 24th. It is a Donald Trump aligned group that organizes young people on college campuses into conservative activism. Well, a man named Alejandro Richard Velasquez Gomez, he's 19, of San Antonio, was arrested by the FBI. Um, so apparently he posted on Instagram the first day of the convention that the first day of the convention would be the day of retribution, the day I will have revenge against all of humanity.
Good
Clearly,
Lord.
that's what he posted.
I mean, why?
Yeah, I know. So he even bought a plane ticket to fly from Austin to Tampa on July 22nd, but he canceled it. So they believe he planned a attack, modeling a 2014 rampage that killed 6 students near University of California. They do not know why he had targeted this event, but the Tampa police took it seriously and obtained a warrant. Yes. So he was arrested in San Antonio and charged with making threatening interstate communications. He was also charged with possession of child pornography for images found on his phone. Yeah. At least he's off the street, so he remains jailed, obviously. So,
God.
yeah.
Wow.
Craziness. Yeah. Wild. All right. We have a caller. Good morning. Who's this?
Ye to the high this morning.
Well, hello. How are you?
Well, hey there.
Hey, I'm fine. I am fine. I got 2 questions.
Okay, go for it.
Number one, who is Rayford Brown? I don't know who Rayford Brown is anymore. All I know is the Hen House Chronicles or Hen House Headlines.
What was that that Steve called us?
Hen House Headlines.
Oh, Hen House Headlines.
Yeah, Hen House. I like that better. Thank you, Steve. I really Hen House Headlines. I love it. And another thing, I don't agree with Steve all the time, but this time I did totally agree with him. But I want y'all to find out something for me because I was under the assumption that just the ID card, if you wanted an ID card, it was free.
They are
now,
free.
I may be wrong on it. Yeah,
right.
That's...
And I was
I wanted to...
that.
Right, but I agree with him. I can't believe I agree with everything you said. But I call our party, which is the unaffiliated party, or whatever you want to call them, I call us the silent party. We just sit back and watch the Democrats and Republicans fight like a dog, and we speak when it matters. We go vote.
Right.
And that's so, and that's what I wanted to say this morning. I mean, y'all are doing a great job, and like I said, I don't know who Rayford Brown is anymore. It's just a figment of my imagination.
He's down there
But
diving and swimming.
He's having a ball. Well, I feel like I'm swimming out here in this rain. I mean, my back has been so wet, I feel like I got moss growing on it, like a terrapin.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, I thought about you this morning too because I was coming down Gum Branch Road, and it was raining so hard, and I thought, Lord, what a day for Tim to be out working in this with those. Big trucks.
That's one of the many pet peeves I got about this job. I do hate working in the rain. I know I'm not going to melt. I may float, but I'm not going to melt. But handling steel track equipment in the rain is dangerous enough when it's dry, but in the rain it really gets dangerous. I don't use a detach. I use what is called a dovetail. So we load it from the back, and it does make you butthole pucker sometimes when you're going up that ramp. But we handle it. We handle it. We're safe. We be safe. But and I tell them, I say that running around here in the rain with this trailer, I said you're crawling up and down off the trailer, you're crawling up and down off the machines, and it's already slick, and it is dangerous. But we take our time, and so far I don't think any of us has ever been hurt. And we want to keep it that way. But I just want to say my hat's off to Steve. Y'all are doing a fine job. I listen to Steve. I like Steve. I don't agree with what he says a whole lot, especially when it came about the electric cars. I do think electric cars are practical. I really do. They are a practical item. If you want to run about, remember, think about it like a golf cart. You ride a golf cart around in confined spaces, and it works. You know, you go to these campgrounds, and
Mm-hmm.
they have trails for you to ride from here to there and other places you can go. But if you wanted a electric car to travel around, go back and forth to work, I don't see a problem in it. But if you want to take a long trip now, I've crunched some numbers and it's expensive.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now,
It's not my
It
thing.
is.
now, I just
Yeah.
want to let that know. But y'all be good. I got to go load up and head toward Atlantic.
Well, drive
Right.
carefully.
All right. You be careful.
All right.
All
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Later.
Tim.
Bye. You want to talk about things you and I were talking about? I pulled it up and I have a photo. The most craziest, bizarre thing that you and I were talking about is a fear. Actually occurred in Western North Carolina, in Franklin, North Carolina. It's up in the mountains. I have a friend that's actually from there. One car ran off the bridge and lands on top of another car
Below.
below.
Yes.
Caused a fire. The car below was actually a Corvette convertible, Lee.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And the authorities are calling it a bizarre but miraculous vehicle collision, like on US 64. It was Friday. And so there's a social media picture. The car on top had burst into flames, had come off the overpass. I'm going to pull the picture up. Look at this. Came off the overpass and landed on top of this Corvette convertible that was driving along, under the thing. They did not know this had happened at first. They couldn't figure out till they realized when the crews got on scene. So they had to the guy in the first car was injured, clearly, but the car on the second vehicle, no, wait, no, hold on. The driver of the car that caused it was injured, but the car that the second vehicle, which the car they landed on, the driver was not injured. And he's in a convertible. How lucky is
Would
that
you
guy?
see the left rear wheel on the other car? It was like in the passenger seat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
he just missed getting squashed.
I do not.
What a
yes.
fear.
I would have to go to therapy.
I
I'm
think
gonna go ahead
I'd
and tell you
have
that
to
right
pull
now.
off the
Yeah.
side of the road,
Yeah.
take a look at the overpass, and when I thought it was safe, just like hit it.
And the driver
Get
of
through it.
the car that fell off the overpass was pulled. It was because it was on fire. Was pulled out by bystanders. He was taken to the hospital. He's apparently in stable condition, and the guy driving the convertible Corvette was not injured. Holy cow! I mean, you guys need to go online. It's actually on WRL. You can see it's a whole picture, the whole 9 yards. And the Franklin Fire and Rescue calls it 1 in a million type of call. Like this is just a one of them because I've often wondered, how frequent this occurs. I'm
Right.
glad very thankful it doesn't happen more, but can you imagine?
Well, here's one for you real quick. A driver was injured Monday morning. This morning when a tanker truck carrying portable toilets overturned along Interstate 440 in Raleigh. The crash was reported before 5 a.m. when the wall recycling truck flipped over, blocking the ramp from I-440 westbound to Interstate 87. The driver's okay, suffered a broken leg, but evidently ran off the road and overcorrected. But one portable toilet fell off the truck, adding to the debris and mess. Could you imagine?
Was that this Monday or last Monday?
This Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then one happened last week too, and spread out portable toilets all over the highway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Could you
Like,
imagine?
can you imagine? People, they literally had to shut the road down because portable
That's
toilets went
hazardous.
everywhere. That's a hot mess waiting to happen. I mean, good gracious.
Ugh.
Yep. All right, let's take our final break of the morning. You guys have been awesome this morning. We're live and local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we are back for our final 5 minutes. Today is National Angel Day. Be an Angel Day.
Wow.
So it's telling people to be kind to everyone. So I would definitely tell people to please make sure that you are kind to
Yeah.
others. I did not know this was a
Right.
day. I just happened to see it online.
I try to be
Um,
kind every day.
Yeah, yeah, I
Not
agree. I try to be
always, but I
kind.
try.
Yeah, being kind takes less effort, in
Yes,
my opinion, than being
exactly.
mean.
That's
That's what I
right.
think.
Yes.
I might be wrong about that, but that's just my own opinion. Um, and I know a couple of people that are very excited. I'm not a cruiser. I don't cruise. It's just not my thing. But on starting Tuesday, September 6th, apparently Carnival Cruise Lines are um, redoing their COVID guidelines
That's
for
right.
vaccinated
Yep.
and unvaccinated guests. A lot of people are excited about that. I'm not a cruiser, so I totally could care less. But um, now, pre-cruise testing will no longer be required, but some destinations still require a COVID test um, if you're going to do it. But now they're allowing unvaccinated guests to sail, and they do not have to apply for a vaccine exemption, except for cruises to Australia
Right.
or on voyages that are more than 16 nights.
I know my neighbors are extremely excited because they're leaving in 2 weeks for cruise. Of course, they've had all their shots and their boosters, but they're really excited that they don't have to go through all that protocol to go on to this next
I'm not a
cruise. So,
cruiser. It's not my
you
thing. They're
know,
crowded. I've got a
yeah,
friend that does it, and she has sent me pictures from the cruise.
right.
It is crowded. You have to fight for a spot in the pool. You get one little section,
I
lounge.
don't
It's
want.
just not my thing.
I just don't
Nope.
want to go swimming in a pool like there's 100 people in there. I mean,
And,
what?
or fighting for a lounge
Right.
chair, or
And it's no
yeah,
telling who may be
yeah.
not getting up and going to the
I
bathroom.
just
Yeah,
no, it's not my thing.
you know what I'm
Cruising, this
saying.
has never been my thing. I did what I call a giant water taxi. I took a boat from Miami to the Bahamas once.
Oh, that
Me and a
sounds
friend.
like
It was
fun.
took us 6 hours. I call it a big water taxi. I mean, it was a boat, but
Wow.
that's where I skeet shooted. Now that was fun because I stayed up on deck because I don't like
Yes.
overly deep water like that. I just have this fear. And then my friends started talking about, there's whirlpools in the ocean and stuff. I'm like, don't be telling me this before I get on this. Yeah, she had me all kinds of fruit. And this was 1997. I had just watched Titanic. Like there was a whole bunch of things that
Oh
had happened.
gosh.
Yeah. So I stayed out on deck, knew where I could have told you where every lifeboat was. I mean, it was ridiculous. But then that's why I found I like to skeet shoot. I wasn't good
like
at
to
it first,
skeet
and the more
too.
I did it that day, the better I got. I was like, heck yeah.
First time
So
you ever did it though, didn't you have a sore shoulder?
for a little bit, and then after that, I don't know. I didn't
Yeah, you'll
anymore.
have
So
to
I guess I
learn.
worked out
Yeah.
and I was good at it.
I know the first
Yeah,
time I ever did that, I thought I just like broke my
it felt like you
shoulder.
break. Yeah,
Oh, it was rough. But then after a while, you adapt to it. You learn the easy way to make it less
I think I
hurt,
just became numb.
less
I
pain.
think that's
Yeah.
probably what happened. I just numbed my whole arm out. Yeah, but it was fun. But no, I'm not a cruiser. It's not my thing. But good. I have friends they absolutely love it, and more power to
And I
you.
have a lot of friends that
No,
live for those cruises every
not
year.
me.
And as soon as they get off of one, they're planning for the next
Yep.
year.
Yes.
And I've often thought about wanting to go on one, but
No, I don't care.
now since everything's changed so much
Mhm.
over the last years with all the
It's just too much
illnesses
sickness
and
and whatever, and
sicknesses, and
yeah,
I just
no.
don't really want to be in a crowd
I
anymore.
don't I've gotten so I don't like crowds. I used to not mind them at all, but no. Nope, good luck to everybody, but for those that have been waiting for Carnival to do their thing, apparently they're doing it.
Yes.
So,
And big news here, and I just saw it, and you said this happened a month ago. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck got married.
again, because they got married a month
Right.
ago at the wedding chapel in Vegas.
I missed all of
I
it.
don't know, how did you miss
I
that?
don't
Like that was
know.
all over everything, even social media. But then they got remarried this weekend again for the family and friends wedding where everybody came
Good
to
for
it in
them.
in Georgia. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So good on them. Yeah.
Yes.
More power to them. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We've come to the end of the show. We are live in local Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great day.